pace at which a technological evolution has been seen in past 2 decades, that sheer pace has somehow left the education fraternity behind in terms of adopting that technology in education delivery mechanism. So this is where we have to think today, because till now technology was only enabling us to have a more efficient way of delivering education, to extending the reach, helping us with that. Now we are standing at a point where technology can actually transform the entire education segment. Today's technology, with the help of the number of tools that it has developed, that it is developing, it is going to develop, it can, and not just the tools and applications, but also the kind of contents, using animations, using audio, visuals, etc., etc. It is going to really catch the imagination of the student and provide the student an avenue to interact, to make the education a truly two-way process rather than a one-way traffic. And what will that actually, this second problem is related to that one, because if you have a one-way traffic, if a teacher is coming to a classroom, delivering a lecture for an hour and going back without much interaction with the student, without actually students participating in the process, then sooner or later, maybe first 10 minutes or 20 minutes, but the student will actually lose interest, will not be engaged in any meaningful manner. Attention span of the youth population, it has always been, it is never infinite, that you can focus on certain things for infinite duration of time. It was limited to start with, and because of a number of reasons, this attention span has been going down. And if the latest surveys and studies are to be believed, I was shocked to see that one of the reports stated that the average attention span of school-going children is down to 3 minutes. So imagine 300 minutes of lecturing and 3 minutes of attention span. Every 3 minutes, the student's mind wanders here or there and then comes back, of course, but for a moment, for a few seconds, it goes away. So if that is the case, then what will happen, if your brain, if your mind has wandered for almost 100 times during the course of those 300 minutes of lectures, then your overall picture of that concept that you were taught is going to be hazy. Your concepts are not going to be clear. So if, for instance, there are, lecture capture solutions available, if you have those lectures captured and available for students to review those on their devices preferably, then, whatever they miss, they can quickly go through and recheck and have their, picture intact. So if, again, technology can help there, why should we not get that help? Again, same solution, lecture capture can take care of this. You can distribute your lecture notes before the class or during the class or after the class. So the student doesn't have to take down the notes. The lecture video is already available. So if he or she still wants to take his personal notes, they can always go back and do that. And during the class, they can actually sit down and try and understand the concepts being taught. We, as knowledge seekers, too have a range of fundamental rights, and the most important fundamental right for gaining knowledge, in my opinion, is right to doubt, right to question. But many of you are into education and in teaching, so you might be fully aware of this fact that in a class of 50, how many students actually raise hands, interrupt, and ask questions? Maybe less than 10%. 90% are mute spectators. Why? Because they are not interested? Because they don't want to learn? Because they don't have any questions? No, there are they have some sort of limitations. Maybe one limitation was because of that limited attention span. So if my picture is hazy, I wouldn't know what to doubt, what question to ask. That's number one. Number two, I could have fear of public speaking. I have a question, but how do I stand up in this packed classroom and ask my questions? Is my question a good question or is it a stupid question? Will I be laughed at? So these limitations, these weaknesses, actually compromise the student's right to question, his most important fundamental right. And he's losing that fundamental right because of, I wouldn't really call it, that, but, some sort of a handicap, because I'm not able to stand up in a crowded classroom and talk. So you compromise my freedom. That's unjust. Those 225 million students that we're talking today in age group of 10 to 19, they're not going to remain in that age group for all times to come. We have to act today if we really want to do something meaningful there and if we really want to make that change. This is exactly the area that we have been working in at Fractal Technologies. We are introducing this solution, Blue Book, to the market. Actually, we are proud to share with you that yesterday we got the ICT Initiative of the Year award for this particular solution. Thank you very much.